What's up, Reefers? Sorry for the slight delay. There were some technical difficulties, the internet these days. So without further ado, I just want to welcome our guest for today, all the way from Italy. So as those of you who've been watching these, we've been trying to get representation of reefers from around the world. The last couple of weeks, we've had folks come over. John from last week from California, who was in Poland. This week, we got Italy, and over the coming weeks, we're going to have more people from around the world. So if you'd like to be a part of the Aquaforest Tank Talks, drop us a message down below, reach out to myself or Severin, and we'll be happy to connect a little bit further and talk about that. So without further ado, I love this shirt supporting Kiss My Ass, and I equally am wearing my Salinity shirt here.
I have it also, that one. Yeah. Also
fantastic. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. I know it's just after 9 o'clock, so we won't keep you on too long, but we've been friends for a while, and I've appreciated watching your tank progression and some of your bonsai stuff, and it's really great to finally have a chance to be able to connect a little bit. So enough about me talking. Please share with us a little bit about yourself, about your tank, how you got into the hobby.
Okay, Aaron. So I'm Irash. I'm from Italy, but I'm originally from Sri Lanka. So they have more corals than us, for sure.
Sure.
But here we have best coffee, no? We have a good coffee, so it's balanced.
Hands down, I'd rather have coffee, great coffee every day, and good corals, when you can.
Yeah. So I actually start with this hobby with a voucher. So I have a freshwater tank with stingrays and monster fish and like that. So the local fish store gave me a voucher, and I talked to start with my first tank. It was like 30 liters, like something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I changed two tanks, the 30-liter one, the cube like 100 liters, and now I have this one. It's more bigger, like 300 liters.
Yeah.
So it's handmade. So shop I order it for by myself and tell them the sizes and sump and like that.
And so you said it's 300 liters. So approximately, what are the dimensions, the length, the width, the height of your custom build?
Okay, I think 1 meter for 50, and the height is 60.
Okay, so roughly 24 by, or sorry, 36 by 24 by, what was it, 18?
Yeah, sure. And I also have a big sump, and I put the sump with the algae reactor, also the skimmer, and I use Aquaforest Life Biofuel, and it's working really good. I think this tank have like 6 months now, 6-7 months.
It's been that many, 6 months now. So you've had quite the progression really quickly with that tank. It's really stable.
But I think I take also both tanks for 1 month. I run in this for 1 month, and I keep also the old tank behind the one.
So you did like a tank transfer of stuff over.
Yeah, 1 month transfer. So I put the easy corals and some fish to see how it's going, how it's running.
And it's interesting you say that, because I see in the chat we have Philip, who was a guest a couple of weeks back, and equally Michael, who both of them did a similar tank transfer where they had another tank there that they were able to bring stuff in.
Yeah, I think it's a bit risky, put so fast things, and I lost some. Also, I lost some 2 scolemias and some torts, but now it's really stable, and it's going really well.
Yeah, it's definitely progressed well. It's one of these things that I think the statement gets made. You can set up a tank, put corals in it really quickly. A short cycle, and I think there's some truth to that. But I think people don't go into the details of what it would take to do so, and what are the benefits of that, and what are the risks. Sometimes you can do that with some corals. other corals are much more sensitive to those fluctuations and
Yeah, I think like
stability.
yes, and course like that, it's more difficult to switch so fast.
Yeah.
I don't have SPS corals. I bought two of them like 1 month ago, and it's going really good for now.
Hmm.
But my nutrients are a little bit high, so SPS and nutrients, it's not good. You
Well,
can't live.
at least you'll have good color with the higher nutrients.
Yeah, I have colorful
Yeah.
LPS. That's why it's like that. And I have also mangroves, some
Hmm.
mangroves there, and and the algae reactor for
The nutrient control,
yeah,
phosphate. Yeah.
for keep
And
them low.
so tell us a little bit about your choice to put a mangrove in there, because like Jake Adams has a tank dedicated where he has the mangroves growing out, and he's talked about that.
Yeah,
Why did you decide to use mangroves, and like how did you go about putting it into your build?
yeah, I think it's the best way to, and it's the natural way to go down with nutrients. No, like in the nature, they have big mangroves and
Hmm. Hmm.
algae. For I don't like to put now some resin and like stuff like that, because they also have more problems. They give um I don't know what to say. They give some little bit problems, no, like a reactor and stuff like
Sure,
that.
sure. Depending on what you put in there, the leaching of what could come out of it.
Yeah, and the first fun fact, the first mangroves I took was from directly from the sea from Sri Lanka.
No way.
Yeah,
How
I
did how did you get it to Italy?
yeah, I took like seven of them, but stuff like that.
So
No, no
they
big.
were just the pods. Did they have the
Yeah,
stalk
yeah,
growing yet? Yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
pods.
And the from seven, I think they leave only three or four.
And do you? And we won't talk about how you got it into Italy because I don't know what the importation of that is. But we'll skip to how do you keep them in your aquarium? Do you have it? They're in the overflow, but do you have them in something, or are they just freely suspended with the roots? How do you keep them?
So the roots are in the. I can show you. Wait a second. If you can see here, you can see here.
Uh-huh.
I put like this one to keep the roots inside,
Yes.
and they're growing really really slow, but
Yeah.
they're really really slow in growth. But yes, I think it's the best way is to keep them in with the roots inside the water, and somebody keep them in the sand, but
Hmm.
I don't have sand there because they are too short to
Sure.
put in the sand. So, but they are really slow. They are really slow.
They're very slow growers, and that's why I was curious to see at what point and how
But
you're
I think
keeping them.
if you take a bigger one,
Hmm.
it's more risky. He can it can die faster.
Sure.
And do you have any other questions?
Well, talking about the mangroves, one of the owner of Unique Corals, Joe Caproletta, he has a mangrove that he's kept in a while, and he has it in a big tank now with other fish around it, and it's always interesting to see because he'll mist it with water, just like Jake Adams will do to make sure that
Yeah,
the leaves stay hydrated as well, because most red mangoes, and I don't know which variety that is.
yeah,
They also need to make sure that they have adequate moisture on that, because the salt can build up and hurt them in essence.
yeah, sure. And also, I have a lot of, like you said, anemones.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them are bubble tips.
Yep.
Um, I think most reefers are afraid about anemones. I don't know why, but they're really, really easy to keep, and they don't. I think they don't burn anything. because they move like where they are alone. No, they put the feet inside the rock and they are really stable. I have those anemones like two from 2 years and they never move from them.
I think that's an interesting topic, and we should dig into that a little bit more because there seems to be when you talk about anemones, people will say, I love them in my main display tank. They're great. Other people will say, you know what, keep them out. They could replicate too many too fast, or the other is they're too dangerous if they go onto a pump. And
So they aren't dangerous because I have all of them near the philias and they don't do anything and like stuff like that. Yeah, they if they are healthy, there are more way to reproduce. You can find two anemones in one day if they are healthy and stuff like that. It's good stuff. No?
Yeah, and I don't know too much about their why they split. I read that they split because they have to they're under threat. And I don't know if that's all bubble tip or just it was the rose tip that I was looking at, that they replicate when they're threatened. And so I'm curious, why people choose that and how they can get them to best
in
live.
my experience, they duplicate like when they are healthy and big, no? So
Okay.
they're gonna if they are going to be really really big, they split. If they are healthy, I think.
I see.
And I think yeah, I think it's the really natural thing in reef tank, the symbiose about
Mhm.
the clownfish and also I have some anemone crabs inside.
Sure.
They're really natural and beautiful, no? But the symbiosis is also strange and tricky, my the orange storm
The
clownfish.
clownfish, yeah.
Yeah, I have it like 1 year, and yesterday he symbiosed with the anemone
Oh,
after.
wow. It took that long.
Yeah, after 1 year. So also the bubbles inside, they can be long tentacles or bubbles. But I think also it's about the flow. If
Mm-hmm.
you have a slow flow, they tend to be so they keep the bubble big. No, if
Mm-hmm.
if the flow is really really fast and like that, the tentacle is it's I don't know. It's like an euphilia, no? It's like a torch.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah. So depending on what the flow is, that they will either open up their bubble, or if it's much faster, though, they're going to be
yeah,
much
yeah.
more cylindrical. Yeah.
But the best advice I can give for an eminence is the most important thing is it's the light. They love light, no? So if they have a good light, you can keep it well, no?
So
And
it's interesting that you mentioned that. So a buddy of mine gave me a couple of bubble tips, and I wasn't sure what variety. And then I asked him, hey, where did you get these? And he told me that he's had them for almost 10 years in his tank, and they were the vivid, the rainbow bubble tip. And so they have red and yellow and green and specks of white in it. And
yeah,
in his,
yeah, they have a lot of beautiful colors and
yeah.
this one I have, it's from the old one from Indonesia.
Mm-hmm.
They have have some colors, and so
Sure.
it's really good.
But your point about light is really interesting, because in his tank, his power is right around where the enemies are right around 200. I have them in a holding tank, and they're getting 350 to 400 power. And the colors that I get between his and mine they look like completely different coral or different anemones, because mine are getting so much more light. And I feed them the Aquaforest Power Elixir every other day, and I feed them the Aquaforest the pellets also. And so I drop in some pellets, and they eat every
Yeah,
other day. So
the other important thing is the feeding. No, they have to be fed like 2 times a week. Also with I also gave him some fish, no, big
Yep.
fish, like something like this. They tend to they really like to eat big stuff like
The meaty things.
yeah, no, not the powders and stuff like that. They don't like, no, but they like to eat some big stuff like also like Aquaforest,
The pellets.
yeah, the pellets like this,
Yeah, yeah,
like
it's the same one, the medium ones that I feed as well.
yeah,
Yep.
medium one. They love they love it. So and the most yeah the important also the if you have a stable tank, it's really good. I don't and I don't advise anyone it's starting a new tank to put the anemone because it's not the best thing to do. No, they like really stable tanks and
Yes. The advice that I've always heard on it is that you should wait at least 1 year before putting an anemone into a tank.
yeah
You know, they
yeah
needs that stability more in some cases than an SPS.
yeah they also suffer the switch of
Mm-hmm.
the tank. No, the first I have two of this one. Then with like 3 months later, I had seven of them. Now,
Wow.
now it's going to sleep. Like I said,
Yeah, it's
this
nine,
time
almost 9:30.
light, the light was closed, but I open it so I can show you the tank. So
Thank you.
and also yeah, they also the best thing of the symbios the clownfish I saw
Mm-hmm.
they give to them they feed the anemone. It's really
Correct.
cool.
They'll take the food and they'll spit it back out into their mouth.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
feed the anemone also the crab. It's really I have the porcelain one.
Mm-hmm.
It's really beautiful and the symbios like in in the night the anemone close with he like to sleep with the crab and also the clownfish together. It's
Wow.
beautiful to see it.
Sure. So
And
we've got a couple of questions from the group in here, and the first is about from Viking Reefer, who's asked if you got any difficult fish lately, and I know where he's going with that, and
yeah,
you can bust his chops.
yeah, I think he's speaking about I think about the the regal
Sure.
angel. I gave him back. No, like I said to you,
Yeah.
it's a bit tricky and difficult to feed. No, but the copper band it's eating really good now.
Great.
Like you suggest me the bloodworms,
Mm-hmm.
but he start to eat anything now.
Oh,
So
that's great. Yeah. So
that's really
you got a winner there. Once you start eating, hopefully he'll stay eating.
yeah he eats really good, but he tries to eat my tridacna. So I keep my tridacna on the box
Uh,
here,
yeah.
and I have to sell it. So because he really
So he'll start
like
picking.
to eat. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, do you have another question or?
Yes. So switching a couple of the questions. So Philip was asking about your GHL stack, and he was specifically asking how your KH director is, and do you run the Ion director?
So I have I have the doser 2.1 doser of GHL, and I'm dosing the Aquaforest 1, 2, 3 component.
Mm-hmm.
Also in the fourth channel, I'm dosing Aquaforest Elixir.
The
So
power elixir. Yeah.
yeah, it's really good. I think the coral loves that. And yes, I have the KH director. It's really doing really good job because I have stable KH now. So it's really
Do you have it on monitoring or monitor and dosing?
only monitoring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Um,
I know
yeah.
I experimented with that as well, and I I had difficulties with it on the dosing part of it, so I just ended up leaving it on the monitoring piece. And
Yeah, I
using
think
those
for
results.
now it's good. Now you can adjust with the channels. No,
Hmm. Hmm.
you can handle with them. And yes, I have also I put also the phytoplankton once a day.
Yeah. Do you do that one shot, or do you do it like day or night? Because I've been doing mine manually like twice a day, and I've been thinking about finding a better
So
way to automate that.
yeah, so first I put in the doser.
Mm,
It's too difficult to keep in the doser now because he I think it's gonna die faster.
sure, sure.
And now I'm take in the fridge. No, I keep it in the fridge and dose it like yeah manually. It's
Yeah.
uh, it's easier. And also I dose Aquaforest phytoplankton bottle.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's also good. And
Do you dose the phytoplankton during the day, or do you do it in the evening when the lights are off?
with the lights are off. Yeah, when the lights are off,
Yeah.
usually
Yeah.
with lights off.
I,
And
I've been doing one with the lights on and one with the lights off, just to
yeah, it's
see,
good. Yeah,
because
it's good.
different corals are going to eat at different times, and
Yeah,
if it
really good.
stimulates, then I'm okay with that.
And also I dose the bacteria from Aquaforest,
Hmm.
NP Pro and the BOS, like
Yep. Yep.
every water change. So I keep it good and like the bacteria and like I
And,
said, I have
and you
also
still and you still have high nitrates
no,
or high nutrients? No. Oh, you don't.
no.
Oh, okay.
And I found a balance with the bacteria and mangroves and the reactor, the
Yeah.
algae reactor, and I can keep it. Uh, Honestly, I didn't do test like 1 month, but the tank is really going good. So I think the best test is it's you, no? Yeah, it's the eye.
Yeah, and I see, Phil made a comment down here about, wanting to be in control of the tank and not letting the technology always control it. And I think that's a good thing for reefers, regardless of your experience level or what technology you have, is, use the eyes you have, and the more time you spend with your tank, the better you're going to understand,
In
which
my
are your
my
canary corals.
yeah, maybe my tank is going good with 9 kHD,
Hmm.
and your corals are happy at 7. No, it's
Sure.
all tank is different. So I can suggest, I can advise anyone to, but you can see your tank and you have to learn about your tank and your corals.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the challenge that exists in the hobby, is people are comfortable to share what their numbers are, but other people will try chasing those numbers because somebody else that they admire has done. But the challenge can be is that works for them based on what they have in their tank and their base water and their lighting, their nutrients, and that may not work for everyone. And I think that that's always the thing is, understand your tank, understand what your goals are, and then
Yeah,
be able to work around those goals, as opposed to just kind of flying and building the plane at the same time.
but I think in Reef tank, the most important thing, I think it's the patience. You have to be patient and everything, and less is more.
So it's funny you mentioned patience. So I've had my Aquaforest, the Ocean Guard, since last June, and I still don't have any fish in it.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. I saw it.
So I agree on patience, and obviously I've had a lot of ups and downs with Uranima and getting
Yeah,
it in place and
I
stuff.
saw it.
And
Yeah.
yeah, but you're right. That, much like keeping a bonsai, this is a hobby of patience.
The
And
same thing. Yeah,
yeah, and for those who are in the chat and watching this, I know many of you believe in the same thing about the preparation and patience. So it's definitely something that I think most people who in the hobby for the long haul know you have to be patient. People who are starting their first tank, the excitement generates a lot of like, I must do it now, and sometimes their tank suffers a little because of that.
yeah. I think it's the reef tank. It's like creating a world in you can have a rock and create in a like a reef world, no? With
Exactly.
but they took time to have it.
Absolutely. And so what else are you feeding your fish? So we saw the Aquaforest Marine. Are you giving them anything else, or is that what
For
they
for the fish or the
for
corals?
the well, both?
Yeah, I'm usually for fish. I'm giving them the like I said, the marine mix,
Mm-hmm.
medium size, and also this one protein powder.
Mm.
So the protein powder, I think it's really good,
Yep.
and I feed them also with meses, frozen food like meses and eggs, lobster eggs.
Yep.
Um,
Where do you get lobster eggs? Do you just go to the fish market?
no, my local fish store have really. I think he's the only one in Milan, or it have lobster eggs. The
Huh.
fish love lobster eggs. I don't know.
Sure. Sure.
They,
It's such high
I
in
think,
protein, of course.
yeah, it's a power for them, and yeah, I sometimes give them brine shrimps and bloodworms like that. For corals, I use the Aquaforest powder.
Mm-hmm.
Really LPS power. I think the name is LPS power or
Yep.
something like
Yep.
that. Yeah, the corals they really like it, but I usually dose with I daily dose Aquaforest elixir,
Yeah.
so it's also a good amino
Yeah.
acid.
Amino acid with
Yeah.
vitamins and minerals, and you don't have to refrigerate it. So that to me is the best part.
The best part is like that, but you can plug and play. So
Yeah. Yeah.
you can put in the doser and stuff, and dose it like that. Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about what is it like to set up a reef tank in Italy, in Milan. I know, many people who'll be watching this either now or later probably have never thought about, the differences between each country to set up a tank.
So I
What's it
think,
like in Italy?
yeah, I think US have more corals. I think the best selection is it's going to United States. We have more ugly corals like that.
There's
The
never an
ugly one,
ugly coral.
yeah, the ugly one comes to Europe. I think I saw some.
I don't know. You better talk to Michael because he just got some really beautiful pieces from Italy.
Yeah. It's the same shop I buy corals.
Okay.
Corals Garden. They are from Rome,
Yep.
and they're really really good in their job, and really really good stuff. I know the guys, and they ship to Viking River. Yeah, I saw it, but
Yeah.
they had the problem with UPS. No.
I think they did it on purpose because they knew that he was away last week and out of town, so they purposely did
Yeah,
it.
yeah. And yes, I think the coral selection is different. Like I
Hmm.
said, in US it's more beautiful. Like you have some coral also I see in Macna, no?
Yeah,
Macna, Orlando, like that. We never saw a coral like that.
I see.
So now I think also the prices is really high to buy corals, and really really high.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I think with the cost of shipping going up and
yeah,
gasoline everywhere, yeah,
COVID and war,
COVID, yep,
a lot of time.
everything is going back up.
Like if you have some euphilias, you are rich now. A
Yeah.
lot of a lot of people ask me for a torch. I think
Mhm.
torch is really rare now, and also the anemones like from Indonesia. It's really rare to have in the tank. No.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely some of that stuff is getting harder and harder to get. And, whether that's COVID or collection, but there's definitely a shift. I think you see right now that the trendy corals are the euphyllias or the hammers and the torches and the octospawns.
Also,
Yeah,
also in
those.
Italy, it's really difficult to have really nice corals because they cost really it's really
Sure.
high now. It's really high.
And where do you see the market going in Italy in the next 6 to 8 months? Do you see the prices keep going up and availability being limited, or do you see things leveling out and more people starting to join the hobby?
I think it's going to be more harder. The price is going up, I think, because and like the like I said, also the Zoanthus, no, it's
Hmm.
going to crazy prices and stuff like that. So I think it's really really difficult to keep uh, a big tank, no,
Sure.
and it's a cost. I think it's a
It's the
cost.
cost to fill it. Yeah.
Yeah, before you start, you have to know the prices and stuff like that.
Yeah, I remember back in the day, of having a tank where you could get a frag when it would be the size of your fist, and it would be, 20, $30. And
Yeah.
now, forget it. You get something the size of your fingernail for that same price.
They give you one polyp.
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes it's, hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really. I think it's a really beautiful hobby, but it's costs a lot. You have a lot of costs. I think. It's like,
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is a hobby that requires continuous investment. Either in equipment or livestock, or just things
the,
change, and you want to be able to stay with it.
the corals are really difficult. They have tricky parameters, and
Sure.
maybe you have a torch going really good, no, and tomorrow it's dead. I don't know why, and like something like that.
Yeah.
Corals are it's really difficult to keep, I think.
And
Like
so what's your plan for the tank for the next 6 months? You've made it this far in these 6 months. What's the next 6 months look like for you?
so, I think I put some nice mushrooms. I
Hmm.
love mushrooms and zoanthus. I want to put some more stuff here
Yes.
the- because here it's really full now. Of I have also like 6, 7 Euphilias types,
Right.
and really. Uh, Wait, I can show you. Wait.
Uh-oh. Let's hope that's not another technical difficulty. Hopefully he's still with us. I know we had some problems before with the camera and the audio connecting, so let's hope that we still have that. But just wanted to say, again, thank you guys for joining. We have our loyalists who come every week, so thank you for taking the time to share with us your thoughts, your questions, and participate to help to make the hobby even better. We do this every week because it's meaningful, and the more that we can share about what we do and how it's working for us, hopefully that'll inspire others. Oh, I hear audio again.
Okay. No, you can see. I don't know if you can see.
Yep, we can see.
Do you know if I can switch the camera on the front camera?
You can try. Let's see.
Wait, I don't think so. If you see, I can show you from here.
All right. Yeah. So we get a nice top-down view now.
Yeah,
We'll all turn our heads.
but they are going to sleep now because
Yeah. Yeah.
sun
I know it's
it's really.
yeah. It's almost 10 o'clock for you there, so
Yeah.
everyone's starting to go to sleep.
I have here the tridacna. So,
Yeah.
like I said, the copper band try to eat. The
Sure.
fun fact is I have also an anemone here.
Yeah.
they're like symbiotes together now. And yeah, the tank is like this. So I have some Xanthus here.
So you're definitely running out of room, but I imagine the next 6 months will be filling up all those little spaces you have left.
Yeah, I want to
Yeah, and then watching it grow.
here. Yeah, and yeah, I have the wait a second. Here I
There
am.
we go.
And yes, I have to put some zoanthus and mushroom now.
Yeah.
Maybe some scolemia now. It's because the tank is more stable now, so I can put some scolemia and see what happened.
Be careful with the copper band again.
Yeah, but
you see, you're lucky you don't have the Regal, because you wouldn't be able to keep it with the Regal.
really,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you think he can bite? No, can bite also the
Every
LPS.
day, any day.
Oh, we don't know how Viking Reefer can keep all those fish.
Well, it's one of these things, and some others in the group can attest to it as well. If you have so many established colonies in your tank, they pick on it here, they pick on it there. It's not going to kill it because they're so big and established. If you've got a small little frag and the fish bites it, chances are it'll definitely do more damage. But the bigger the tank, the more established the corals, the more resilient they are.
Yeah, and he really feed a lot. So I think also
Exactly.
for that, he feeds really.
Exactly. So the more you're feeding, that helps to keep them, their curiosity at bay, and the more they're going to eat the food and look up as opposed to look down and go at what's below them.
Yeah. So
yeah, well, let's have you back on within the next 6 months, and let's see the progression.
yeah,
What you filled out into the tank. What new gadgets you got on there. What equipment you're running at the time, and whether you've made any modifications or changes to it.
Yeah, I will update you. Sure.
Fantastic. Well,
So
we've
glad
kept we've kept you on long enough. I know it's getting late for you in the tank, but
no, it's
but thank you for taking the time, and again for all the questions that we've had on this. I really appreciate you guys leaving your thoughts, your comments, questions. We'll be back next week, so if you got any more thoughts, hit us up, let us know.
Yeah,
you can get more details down below on this this podcast and future ones. And for now, happy reefing.
Thank you, Aaron. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye.